then female is represented by 0. A language that can be understood by the machine, especially if you're using something like Python. Yeah, you can, feature engineering is very important, and it's part of data preparation. Okay. Then you proceeded to the data analysis tools that we usually have, and we have quite a number, and all of them have their own specific, they have their own, I'd say, specific roles. So we have Excel, Microsoft Excel. That one is used for in cases where your data is not as huge, small to medium size data set. That's when you use Excel. And in cases where you do, it's basic analysis. Yeah, so that's when you use Excel. Number 2, we have SQL. SQL is a structured query language, and this one is a database management system that helps in managing your data. You want to, if you have, if you've stored your data in a database, you want to maybe update that data, you want to filter, you want to delete some data, and so on and so forth. So you usually use SQL, and we have quite a number of those database management systems. We have SQL, we have MySQL, we have Workbench, we have quite a number there. Yeah, their number. Then we have Python and R. They're usually used for data science. Yeah. And then we have for business intelligence, we usually use either Power BI, Tableau, Looker Studio, SAP, and Qlik. Yeah, those are the the tools that we have for business intelligence. But for our case, we'll be looking at Power BI. Yeah, so we started with SQL. No, sorry, not SQL. Sorry, we started with Excel, Microsoft Excel. Where we looked at a number of functionalities that come with Excel. We looked at the Excel interface. We have a ribbon, and under that ribbon, you're able to transform, not to transform per se, but to check the data type of your columns. If you want to change those data types, how do you go about that? We have the functions that we usually use in Excel, like sum, average, count, if, the lookup functions. We also looked at a number of data cleaning, techniques. In case you have a missing value, first of all, how do you identify missing values? And that is where we said you introduce filters. There's someone who is speaking. Could you kindly mute if you're not muted? Okay, thank you. So we have the data cleaning techniques. Under that, we looked at how to deal with missing values. How do you identify missing values? Where you use filters. Then from the filter, we have a drop down where you're able to to see the contents of your column. Then if there are blanks, then that is to mean we have a missing value in that particular column. So that is where you can go ahead and replace. Another way of checking whether you have missing values, yeah, that was it. There is the Control G. Then you select blanks, then it's going to show you the blanks that you have in your data set. Okay. Then for duplicates, again, we said for duplicates, you Unlike missing values where you go ahead and check which one is the missing, which are the missing values or which are the cells with the missing values. For duplicates, you just need to remove them. We say the solution for duplicates is removing them. So you select your data, then under data on the ribbon, we have a slot for remove duplicates. Select remove duplicates, and it's going to show you the number of duplicates that have been removed. Okay. Then still under data, so that is data cleaning. In cases where you have maybe structural errors, you need to write the names in the right, casing, in proper casing. We have a function for that. It's a text function, which is equal to proper. Then you give us that. You reference the cell that you want to change. Then we looked at other features such as sorting and filtering, which are used to organize and retrieve relevant information. We also looked at conditional formatting, which is used to identify trends, patterns, and exceptions. We looked at data validation, and this is a technique that helps in improving data accuracy and consistency during data entry. Then after that, we looked at the pivot tables. And under pivot tables, we said that pivot tables help us with doing quick analysis. Yeah, and we did an example. Then we looked at charts, and charts are used for visualizing your data. Okay. So yesterday's session was basically for helping us do high quality analysis, or rather just reminding us for, when it comes to analysis and you want accurate results, then you have to make sure that your data is of high quality. I hope that is clear. So for those that missed yesterday's class, you can just go back to the yesterday's YouTube video, just go through it, then you'll be able to follow through. Now, I want us to proceed to what we are supposed to cover today. And today we'll be covering data visualization for data analysis. And this is where we basically transform numbers into stories, but these stories are in form of visualizations. Okay. And data visualization is very important. It is a part of data analysis. It's a very important part. Data visualization is basically graphical representation of data, graphical or pictorial. But when it comes to mathematics, because we're dealing with numbers and analysis, that is why we have graph. It's a graphical representation of data using charts. It could be charts, graphs, maps, dashboards, or other visual elements to make information easier to understand, analyze, and communicate. So the reason why we use data visualizations is, for one, the first reason is to understand. We want to understand this data. Yeah. Okay. So what was the distribution of the, gender? Is it, when we use a pie chart, it's going to show us that 50% of these people were, 50% were male, then 50% was female. Okay, so we are able to understand the distribution rather than you going back to your data set, checking, and you're trying to see how many males do we have, how many females, and so on and so forth. You can use data visualization for that. So it helps you to understand. And also it is part of analysis. And lastly, when it comes to communication, we are communicating through visualizations. Again, I want to insist this, that it is easier to communicate using visuals compared to a data set or an Excel workbook. It is easier to communicate using visuals. So, and that is why we have to look at data visualization when it comes to data analysis. It has to be part of your analysis. So why is data visualization important? Number one, it makes patterns and trends easier to identify across large data sets. If you're looking at patterns, or rather, if you're looking for patterns, it is easier to identify patterns when using visualizations compared to when given a data set. Because for sure, if you're given a data set like the one that we have here, this data set here, you might not be able to tell the distribution of, male and female. You might not be able to tell which county had the highest treatment cost, it's going to be difficult. But when you have a visualization, it's going to be easy for you, or rather it makes your work easier when it comes to identifying those patterns and trends, okay? Because you can only tell a trend from a line graph. You can only tell a trend from, we have 2019, we have 2020, 2021. Then you look at a line graph, then it's going to show you, was the trend line facing upwards or was it facing downwards, okay? Number 2, it helps in facilitating quicker evidence-based decision making. Why? You just look at a visualization or a chart and you're able to make a decision. Yeah, you don't need to calculate nothing. Already it has been calculated and presented in a visual way. So it's going to be easier for you to, or rather it's going to fasten the decision-making process. Number 2, it helps in communicating insights effectively to both technical and non-technical audiences. And this is where business intelligence comes in. Yeah, for business intelligence, you're supposed to present this, maybe a report to your stakeholders, and you're in the data analytics department. Your stakeholders, they're just bosses. Yeah, they're just directors. They are probably non-technical people. So it is easier for you to communicate your results or your insights using visuals compared to when you present to them a data set. They're not going to understand what that data set mean. Or also, if you give them something like, numbers or calculations, you might need to do a lot of explanation compared to when you just use a visualization, they'll be able to follow through, okay? Then number 4, you're able to highlight anomalies, yeah? So in case we have outliers in your data set or, anything that is out of the norm, with a data visualization, you'll be able to, or rather with a visualization or a chart, could be a scatter plot or a box plot, you will be able to detect or just see it. It's going to be easier for you to highlight an outlier, okay? And that is why we need visualizations when it comes to data analysis. So what is the difference between data reporting and data visualization? I want you to take note of this. There's a difference. Visualization, you're using graphical representations, okay? Graphical, that could either charts, graphs, or something of the sort, yeah? But when it comes to reporting, it presents data in tables or in text, okay? That is the difference. Number 2, data visualization explains what happened and why. Data reporting answers the question, what happened? So you're giving us reasons. Data reporting is more of, after you've done a diagnostic analysis, now you have to report what were the results. And in this case, today, and today we'll be covering data visualization for data analysis. Kindly mute. Thank you. Um, I was saying, kindly mute. If you're able to, tafadhali, just mute. For data reporting, it answers the question, what happened? Then for data visualization, it is used for communication and decision making. For data reporting, is primarily used for record keeping. Yeah. Then data visualization highlights key messages and patterns at a glance, while data reporting often detailed with hundreds of rows. Okay. I don't know if I'm sure for most of us have done projects in schools, and in your final year you're supposed to do a report. Yeah, and that is what we have as data reporting. You're reporting what your investigations were or what your research was about. Yeah, but when it comes to data visualization, remember, it is graphical or pictorial representation, presentation or representation. Okay. Now, what are the characteristics of an effective visualization? One, it has to be accurate. So, or rather, an effective visualization is usually accurate. It represents data truthfully. There is no, you cannot have, distorted axes or exaggerated scales. It's going to represent data as it is. Number two, an effective visualization is supposed to be clear and simple. Very simple. By the way, you do not have to have a lot of colors on your, on your chart. No, the point is, when I look at that visualization, is it clear? Is the information clear? Am I able to tell what is happening there? Am I able to tell what is being represented there? Okay. Number three, your chart, an effective visualization should be relevant. And we're going to look at how to choose a chart or how to choose a visualization. You just don't pick a waterfall map or a waterfall visualization just because you have seen a waterfall visualization and you have never used it and now you feel like, let me use this one. No, it has to be relevant. Yeah. And all the, every chart has a purpose and it answers a specific business or policy question. So make sure your chart is relevant. It is making sense. Yeah. Number four, it should be consistent in terms of colors, fonts, legends, and formatting throughout the reports. Make sure you use a theme that is consistent. Yeah. Number five, it should be action-oriented. What does that mean? It should enable decision making such that when a stakeholder looks at that report and they see, there's a chart there, there is a bar graph there, they are able to follow through, or rather they're able to understand what is going on. And from there, they will be able to make a decision because already they are seeing this is what is happening. Then as you're presenting, you explain why did it happen? Then you go ahead and now tell us from our investigations, this is what we recommend. Okay, so it is easier, or rather it is easier for them to make a decision by looking at that particular, visualization, or rather they're supposed to look at that particular visualization and make a decision. So it should be action-oriented, accurate, clear and simple, relevant, consistent when it comes to colors, the fonts, the legends, then it should be action-oriented. Yeah. So why do, some visualizations fail? One, you use the wrong chart type. So for example, you're supposed to show trends then you go ahead and use a pie chart. I mean, it cannot be used for a pie chart. I mean, you cannot use a pie chart for, trends analysis, or you use a line chart for categories. That one is going to definitely mislead the audience. Yeah. And again, it's not going to make sense. So that is why you're supposed to know which one should I choose and why that one. Okay. Number two, too much information. Remember, we said it should be simple and clear. So make sure that you do not have too many colors, too many labels, or a lot of data points on one chart. It can be overwhelming because me as the viewer, I'm supposed to understand what is going on there. So for you, maybe be able to understand what green represents, blue, purple, violet, what those colors represent. But for me, I'll be struggling to understand, oh, so what color is this again? And what does it represent? So you have to look at that. Then number three, missing context. Maybe you do not have titles, you don't have labels, there's no clear message. Yeah, so we are left to guess. So is this chart for what is this chart for again? All those things. So make sure that in your visualizing of data, make sure that you have used the right titles and you have labels. Okay. And again, even as you're choosing the labels or as you're writing the labels, make sure you do not have too much information. You don't have to write a whole sentence for a label. Just write, just use one word, and you can now, as you're presenting, you can now explain to us. Okay. So those are some of the reasons why visualizations fail. So we have, I don't know if I can get a chart, but maybe as we proceed, we're going to look at that activity. So when it comes to choosing the right visualization, what are you supposed to look at? Yeah. What are you supposed to look at? First thing first, of course, you have to, one of the most common mistakes that are done by analysts is selecting charts based on appearance rather than purpose. A waterfall chart could be looking, fancy. It's not as common as, a pie chart or a donut chart. But again, they're not being used for the same purposes. Okay, so we are not here for looks, quote in quote, we are not here for looks. We are here for, is the information being relayed in the right way? Okay, so for example, if you want to compare, you want to do a comparison, you're supposed to use a bar chart. If you want to show a trend over time, you use a line chart. If you want to show category or proportions, use a pie chart or a donut chart. Okay, so what factors are we supposed to consider when it comes to choosing or selecting a visual? Number one, the purpose of the analysis. Why are we doing this analysis? Again, this question, or rather this particular factor, is going to be answered by you understanding the business questions. Okay, so you begin by asking yourself, what question am I trying to answer? So at the end of this analysis, what am I supposed to present to the stakeholders? Yeah, so with that, you'll be able to select the right visualization. Okay, so for example, if you have a question like, which county collected the highest revenue? Which county? So you can do a comparison sort of analysis. Yeah, so we are comparing counties by their revenue. Then you can tell the one that had the highest revenue. So if it's a comparison case, what are you supposed to use? Number two, has immunization coverage improved over time? You want to check. So there is a time aspect there. If we're looking at time, you can work with, that is to mean that is trend analysis. Yeah, because there is time there. Yeah, so for trend analysis, which visualization do we work with? Yeah. Number 3, is there a relationship between rainfall and crop yield? Now, rainfall and crop yield, we have two numerical variables, and we're supposed to see whether they are related to each other. So it's correlation analysis. So for correlation analysis, which visualization do we work with? So for that, you can work with a scatter plot, because both of them are numericals. Yeah. For the second one, immunization coverage improved over time. We want to see what is the trend. Has it improved? Yeah. So that is to mean you can work with line chart for trend analysis. When it comes to comparative analysis, you're comparing a number of counties. So you can work with either a bar chart or a column chart. Okay. So first thing first, what question are we trying to answer, or what is the purpose of this analysis? Number 2, type of data. Type of data. So if your data is categorical, that is to mean it has levels. Yeah, like counties. Counties, I mean, they're not, those ones are categorical because they're unique counties. Yeah. So we have categorical type of data. We have numerical type of data. We have time series data. Then we have geographical data. For categorical type of data, we usually use either a bar graph, where each bar represents an individual category, a column chart, and then we have a pie chart, where each proportion represents a particular or an individual category. Number 2, we have numerical type of data. Numerical type of data, for that we usually work with histogram. A histogram is used for frequencies. Yeah. Then we have a scatter plot. A scatter plot is used to check correlation between two numerical values or numerical columns. Then we have a box plot. A box plot shows the spread of your data. What is the range? So that is why we usually have, we have mean, median, we have interquartile, we have percentile, we have quartiles, and then it shows the minimum number and the maximum number. That is a box plot. So a box plot shows the spread of your data. With a box plot, you'll be able to tell whether you have outliers in your data or not. Okay. Then for time series data, this is time-based data. Time-based data. Yeah. So for that, we usually use a line chart for time-based data. Like if you're predicting weather, if you want to check what was the trend over a period of time, yeah, over a particular period of time, we usually use, that is time series data. So we are going to use a line chart. Then for graphical type of data, we have quite a number. We have the field map, we have shape map, we have ArcGIS maps. They are there. Yeah. So for that one, you're just trying to show location. So time series, time-based, geographical data, that is location-based data. Now, the other factors that you consider are categories. How many categories do you have? Yes, it is categorical data, but how many categories do you have? Now, just maybe for those that are not in the data field, I assume most of us, if your data has more than 5 categories, you're not supposed to use a pie chart. Yeah, if it has more than 5 categories, you're not supposed to use a pie chart. but you can use a bar chart or a column chart. For categories more than, or rather for a column that has more than 5 categories, you're supposed to go for a bar chart or a column chart. For a column that has lesser than 5 categories, you can work with a pie chart. Okay. There is another chart that is called decomposition. Yeah, a decomposition map. Let me see. No, not decomposition, but a tree map. A tree map serves the same purpose as a pie chart. Yeah, it serves the same purpose as a pie chart and a donut chart. That is to mean it's supposed to show proportions. Yeah, so if you have more than 5 categories, you can go for a tree map instead of using a bar chart. I mean, not a bar chart, but a pie chart or a donut chart. Okay. I repeat, for those cases where you have more than 5 categories, work with either a tree map, a bar chart, or a column chart. If they are lesser than 5, work with a bar chart, a pie chart or a donut chart. Okay, that is the other factor. The next factor is audience. Who are you presenting these things to? Yeah, so if you're presenting these things to executives or this report to executives, use dashboards. Why dashboards? Because in dashboards, you use, I think you're supposed to have a minimum of, not more than 6 or 7 visualizations on your dashboard. You just show the key, the KPIs, the key performance indicators. Those are the only things that you show. So in a dashboard, you just have, it takes very few visualizations. Like you have maybe 3 KPIs and maybe a bar graph to show distribution. Then you have something like a pie chart to show, or a trend, a line chart to show the trends, and that is it. That is for executives. Then for technical staff, you can use a detailed reports. This is where you can have as many as visualizations, as many visualizations as you want. Yeah, but this one is for technical staff, people who understand what a tree map is and what is why it is being used in that particular report. What a waterfall chart is and why it is being used in that particular report. Okay, then for public, the public benefits from simple, intuitive visualizations. Always tailor to your audience. Who are you presenting these things to? Again, for executives, they just need a brief, an overview. And for overview, you just use, you're just presenting the key performance indicators. So you just need around 5 to 7 visualizations and you'll be good to go. Okay. Then when it comes to, you also have to consider simplicity and readability. So avoid overcrowding visualizations with unnecessary labels, colors, or decorative elements. A clean, focused visualization is more effective. Okay, so we have, what is the purpose of the analysis? Number 2, what type of data are you visualizing? Number 3, how many categories do you have? Number 4, who are you presenting these reports to? And lastly, your visualization. Look at simplicity. Consider simplicity and readability, such that you do not have to explain to me what is going on. I will just look at that report and I'll be able to follow through. Those are the considerations, or rather, those are some of the things that you're supposed to consider when it comes to choosing visualizations. So which are the common data visualizations? For comparison purposes, we have a bar chart and a column chart. For trends analysis, we have a line chart. For proportions, we have pie chart, donut chart, and a tree map. Okay, for geographical type of data, we have maps, and they are quite a number. Okay, now we've looked at that. I want to now proceed to choosing. We've looked at this, but I'm going to repeat this for better understanding. The purpose and the best visual to work with. When it comes to comparison, you can either work with a bar graph or a column chart. When it comes to showing trends over time, again, over time, any time you hear of time somewhere, you work with a line chart, okay? For showing proportions of a whole, you can work with a pie chart, a donut chart, or a tree map, okay? For showing KPIs, key performance indicators, we have a visualization, or rather a visual by the name KPI card, okay? If you want to compare actual, what are the actual sales and what were our targets, we have a visualization by the name gauge chart, okay? Then if you want to show relationships, we have a scatter plot. If you want to show geographical distribution, you have maps. If you want to show detailed records, you can use a table because you can have as many columns as you want and as many rows as you want, okay? Then if you have multi-level summaries, you can work with a matrix. And if you want to budget hierarchy, you can also use a tree map, okay? So those are the visuals that we have and when to use those visuals. I hope that is clear. Now, in data analysis, we have a discipline by the name business intelligence. And in business intelligence, I hope you can recall, I said anytime business intelligence is mentioned somewhere, just know that data visualizations are going to be involved, or rather, you will have to use data visualizations, okay? So today we're going to look at business intelligence and a BI tool that is commonly used when it comes to business intelligence. And what is business intelligence? Just to remind you, business intelligence is a technology-driven process of collecting, integrating, analyzing, and visualizing data to support informed organizational decision making. Okay, so what does it do? Or rather, in business intelligence, what happens? Of course, you have to start with raw data. Yeah, so this raw data is being turned into actionable insights through reporting. What are we reporting? We're supposed to report visualizations, and these visualizations are from the analysis that has been done. And what is the essence of reporting, visualizing, and analysis? To help us support operational, tactical, and strategic decision making. Okay? So in short, business intelligence is all about, you've collected your data. There's this bit of technology driven. So there's a tool that is going to be used. So you've collected your data. And for this data to be used in this tool, we have to integrate with that data source, whichever it is. It could be an Excel workbook, it could be a database, it could be something else, yeah? So there is integration of your data source and this particular tool. Then once we integrate and your data is loaded in this particular tool, we go ahead and analyze that data and then visualize the data. After that, we create reports and dashboards, which are supposed to help in organizational decision making. I hope that is clear. So why is business intelligence important? Why do we need business intelligence in our organizations or in our businesses? One, it helps to monitor performance. So we have, we have visuals that can help in tracking KPIs and organizational performance in real time. You're able to tell what is the current status of our business and what were our targets. Are we almost there, or how far are we from our targets? Okay, so you're able to monitor performance. Number 2, you're able to identify trends. Number 3, you're able to improve efficiency. And how do you improve efficiency? By reducing time spent on manual reporting, because this one is automated. You just feed in your data in that tool, then you're the one to give it the instructions. What are we building? What visuals are we building here? Then you can go ahead and build those visualizations. And you're not the one drawing them. You're just going to do the, you're just going to drag and drop the data that is supposed to, build a certain visual, and there you have your visual. Okay, so it's going to improve efficiency. And lastly, it enhances accountability. Yeah, so it supports evidence-based policy formulation and enhances transparency. Yeah, so we have an example here. The Ministry of Health receives monthly reports from all counties on disease cases, medicine stock, hospital attendance, maternal mortality, and vaccination coverage. So without BI, without business intelligence, officers spend hours reviewing spreadsheets. Okay, that is without business intelligence. But with a Power BI dashboard, Power BI is one of the BI tools. They are able to, if they decided to work with a Power BI dashboard, they'll be able to show the counties that had the highest malaria burden. Number 2, hospitals that are running low on essential medicines. Number 3, they'll be able to show immunization coverage improved in that particular period of time. Then lastly, the counties that require urgent intervention. So instead of searching for information, in cases where you're using a spreadsheet, decision makers focus on taking action. So it's going to save their time. Yeah. So that is why, we are now switching to business intelligence. So we have a comparison here of the difference between business intelligence and traditional reporting. I know there are those people that are still using traditional reporting, but maybe it's time for you to now switch to business intelligence after this class. So for traditional reporting, the reports are static. So that is to mean there is no, interactivity. You just have a pie chart there, and you have done it manually, remember. Then you have something else there, a report that it's not interactive. But with a business intelligence report, they're usually interactive, such that you can add filters. Yeah, so when you're presenting, you just put filters. For example, if you want to help us see information about, or rather you want to showcase Kisumu County and how it performed, you just select Kisumu County, then it's going to show you details about Kisumu. Okay, so if you want to drill down from year to that particular week or that particular day, we have drill downs in in business intelligence. So that makes our work, it makes your presentation interactive. Number 2, traditional reporting shows historical information only. With business intelligence, you're able to show historical information and also real-time insights. Okay. Number 3, there is limited interaction. Of course, there are limited interactions. While in business intelligence, users can filter and explore data. In traditional reporting, it answers what happened. Remember, it only shows historical information. With business intelligence, you're able to answer what happened, why did it happen, and where. Because now you're able to show, the location. Yeah. Then traditional reporting is produced periodically, while business intelligence can be updated automatically when data changes. You just need to refresh, then it's going to be updated. That is the difference. I hope that is clear. Now, what are the components of a BI system? Whichever BI system that you're using, whether it's Power BI, Tableau, whether it's Looker Studio, these are the components of a BI system. One, we have to have data sources. Where are we getting our data from? Or what is the format of our data? One, we have raw inputs from Excel, SQL, APIs, and field tools. So that is to mean with a BI system, you can access data from whichever data source. Okay. If you want a Python generated data set, you can do that because you can use Python scripts. Yeah, for example, in Power BI, you can use Python scripts, you can use R scripts. Yeah, so you're able to get data from various data sources. Then extraction and integration. This is where you collect and combine data into unified feeds. After that, you do what? So that is to mean we have our data source, we load in our data into our BI system. So that is where we have the integration bit. Then after that, we now go ahead and clean and transform this data for analysis. After that, you can do your analysis. And again, that data, once it is cleaned and transformed, it is usually stored in your BI system. Okay. And finally, presented as, it is stored, analyzed, then presented as an interactive dashboard that drives decisions. I hope that is clear. So, when it comes to data visualizations, we have looked at, we've talked about reports, and then we've talked about dashboard. Yeah. And allow me to mention this bit here. I know we are going to look at it the Power BI stage, but a dashboard is a single page visual display, of the most important information required to monitor organizational performance without requiring users to read lengthy reports. So there's a difference between a report and a dashboard. A dashboard is usually simple and uncluttered. It doesn't have a lot of visualizations. Number two, it is usually focused on key performance indicators, key KPIs. For example, if you're dealing with sales, it's going to show you the total sales. Again, of course, KPIs vary depending on, your sector and the department you're in. If you're looking, if you're in the sales department, you want to show us the total sales that particular month, the average sales, and the total transactions that you had that particular month, the total number of customers that you had. Those are your KPIs because you have targets. Maybe for total sales, your target was maybe something like maybe 5 million. Then you have to show us, so what were the total sales this month or the previous month, and we have 3 million there. So then we'll be able to tell your target was 5 million and you're currently at 3 million. So there's we have a difference of 2 million. So what are you planning to do for you to get to your target? Something like that. So what I'm trying to say is, on a dashboard, or rather a dashboard is focused on key KPIs, not everything, your key KPIs. Okay. Then your dashboard is supposed to be interactive and action oriented. Remember, I said being action oriented means that if I look at that pie chart, I'm supposed to make a decision. Yeah, I'm supposed to make a decision. So if I look at a visualization and I'm not able to understand what is going on in that, in those, in that colorful chart, then that one will not make sense. Okay, then it should be consistent in design, and also it should be updated regularly. That is a dashboard. Okay, I know we're going to come back to dashboards, especially in Power BIs, and you're going to look at why dashboards are very important. Again, as we were looking at, factors to consider when selecting a visual, we've talked about executives. If you're presenting this, if you're doing this presentation, or rather, if you're presenting this report to executives, then you're supposed to use a dashboard because it carries minimal but very important information. Okay, but we're going to look at that as we continue. Now, we've talked about business intelligence, and we've said these are technologies, yeah, that are used to help us convert raw data into insights. Yeah, but then there's a process inside. There's something that you're supposed to follow inside, or rather in between. So among us, the BI tools that we have one by the name Microsoft Power BI. So Microsoft Power BI, this one is a Microsoft product, and it's a business intelligence and data visualization platform developed by Microsoft that enables users to connect. This is where we start, to connect to multiple data sources. Once we connect, we now proceed to loading that data, transforming that data, performing analysis, and now creating interactive reports and dashboards. Okay, unlike Excel, Power BI is designed to handle larger data sets, and it is able to provide dynamic interactive visualizations that update automatically as new data becomes available. So that is to mean with Power BI, you can automate the process. You just need to be consistent with, how your data set is structured. Yeah, then you make sure when it comes to data cleaning, you have as minimal errors as possible. Then you can now proceed to, this is the report that you'll be having every other month. So you automate that process. Okay, that is Power BI. So why Power BI for business intelligence? Why Power BI for business intelligence? Number one, with Power BI, you're able to integrate with very many data sources, yeah, such as Excel, SQL. For those that are in research, you can connect it with Kobo Toolbox, cloud platforms. We have databases. If you want to get your data from a certain website, you can do that. You just need to write the URL, then your data is going to be, with Power BI, you're able to integrate with very many data sources. Number two, you're able to transform your data. This is where you clean and reshape data before building reports. Then after that, you analyze. So this is where you perform advanced calculations using DAX. DAX is data analysis expressions, formulas across entire data sets. And lastly, you can now, so you have analyzed your data, you now build a report, then you can now share this report. You can publish and share this report across maybe your workspace. If you're a number of colleagues in a department, you can share with your colleagues or even with your with the executives or the stakeholders. Okay, that is Power BI. Now, how does Power BI look? Yesterday I had mentioned, maybe if you're able to, you can download Power BI, And I have this is my Power BI desktop. Let's see, let it open. So remember, it's a Microsoft product. So you have to sign in into your using your Microsoft account. Yeah. So this is Power BI. This is how it looks. Okay. So if you want to, if you want to create a new report, you just select blank report. Then once you select blank report, it's going to take you to that interface. So this is Power BI. Now, before we proceed to the interface, let us look at the Power BI ecosystem. So for Power BI, we have a number of products under Power BI. So the first one is Power BI Desktop, like the one I have. And this Power BI Desktop is the primary application used by analysts to connect data, transform it, build data models, create reports, and design dashboards. So this is the tool we are going to use today. And this one is an open source. You don't have to pay for it. Okay. Again, you can use it while you're offline. That is Power BI Desktop. So Power BI Desktop will help you connect to your data source, transform that data, build a data model, create a report. And so up to that point, once you create a report, you're supposed to publish that report. So for you to be able to publish that report, you now have to sign in to Power BI service. So Power BI service is the other one, which is cloud-based platform. It is a cloud-based platform that is used to publish reports, share dashboards, and collaborate with colleagues and schedule automatic data refreshes. So that is to mean you can only publish a report if you have a Power BI service account. Okay. You can only share a dashboard or share your report and dashboard if you have Power BI service account. And if you want to collaborate with your colleagues, you can as well. You have to use, or rather, for you to be able to do that, it has to be on Power BI service. This one is cloud-based. So that is to mean you have to log in into your account. And of course, you have to be online. Okay, then we have Power BI Mobile. This one allows executives and managers to view dashboards and reports on smartphones and tablets while away from the office. Okay, so in short, Power BI Mobile is a mobile application that hosts Power BI service such that you can be able to see the reports and the dashboards from your phone. Then we have the on-premises data gateway. This one enables Power BI to securely connect to on-premises, not premises, but on-premises databases while reports are hosted in the Power BI service. So in short, with the on-premises data gateway, you can connect to an on-premise database. If you have, a separate database somewhere in your institution or a system, a database system, you can connect using the on-premises data gateway. So that is the Power BI ecosystem. So for starters or for beginners, we start with Power BI Desktop. Again, it's free. You just install it, then you can proceed. But then you have to sign in into Microsoft using your email. So how does Power BI work? How does it work? So I want to go back to Power BI, how it looks. So we have file. Under file, if you select file, we have open, we have save as. If you want to save your file, you want to name it, that is where you save as, then you give it the name. Then if you want to share, again, you have to be online. if you want to get data, that is to mean connect to multiple data sources. If you want to import your file, and if you want to export a new file, you select that. For signing in into Power BI service, options and settings, if you want to do some settings. So that is under file. Now, I want to, on your, this is left, yeah? We have the report view. So the first one, the first icon is the report view. And under the report view, this is where we build our visuals from or on. This is where we build our visuals. Yeah, I want you to see that we have that space for add data to your report. Then at the bottom here, we have page 1. So this is report page 1. If you want to have another page, report page 2, and so on and so forth, then we have the visualizations there. Okay. Then the second one, the second icon is table view. So table view, this is where you view your data. Once you load in your data, this is where you view it from. Then if you want to create a model or check whether your data is related, this one happens, or rather this one is applicable in cases where you have a number of data sets. Or for example, if you have an Excel workbook that has a number of worksheets, Excel worksheets, those worksheets are going to be, they're going to look like tables. So you want to see, is there any relationship between worksheet 1 and worksheet 2 and worksheet 3? Is there any relationship? So under model view, that is where you're able to tell whether there are relationships between your data sets. Okay. And of course, for you to be able to tell that there's a relationship, it is through the, in case in worksheet 1, we have for us to be able to tell whether we have relationships in, in such a setting, it happens when we have common columns in all the tables. So in table 1, we have a column by the name transaction ID. In table 2, we have another column by the name transaction ID. Then that is to mean transaction ID is common in both. So that is to mean table 1 and table 2, they are related through the transaction ID column. Yeah. Then we have DAX. This is where you write your formulas. So if you want to do, okay, we have some inbuilt formulas like Excel, like sum, average, product, division, and so on and so forth. They are there. So this is where you write your DAX formulas. If you want to do a calculation, if you want to calculate a new measure, if you want to calculate a new column, and so on and so forth. Okay, then we have TMDL. So this one is, again, this one is used for modeling, yeah, or checking whether we have relationships between data. But again, in this case, unlike the model view, in this case, you use codes, yeah. For TMDL, it's not so common, and there are some Power BI desktop versions that do not have the TMDL part. Yeah, this one is the newest version, so that is why we have that. It's still a new feature. Okay, so that is how Power BI interface looks like. Before I proceed to now home, insert, modeling, view, optimize, and help, these are the main features of Power BI desktop. I hope we are clear up to that point. Now, the reason I decided to do that is because for the Power BI workflow, every section has, it plays its part, yeah. So it plays its parts when it comes, its role rather, when it comes to the Power BI workflow. So the Power BI workflow starts from connecting data. Like, data has to be there, otherwise we cannot have business intelligence without data, yeah. So we have to connect to data sources. So this is where we import sources into Power BI. Then once we do that, the second bit is transforming data, just like Excel or just like any other data analysis workflow. We have to clean that data and transform it or reshape it for analysis. Then once we do that, we proceed to modeling. But if you don't have a number of tables or you only have one data set, then modeling might not be relevant. So what you do, we have DAX. So DAX, or the data analysis expressions, they help us calculate maybe measures that were not in the original data set. So for example, if a data set doesn't have totals, you can use DAX to calculate those totals. Okay, so under model and so modeling helps in building relationships. Then DAX helps in calculating new measures, new columns, new tables, and so on and so forth. Okay, then after that, we go to visualizing. We cannot have business intelligence without data and without visualizing. We have to visualize that data. From visualizations, we create reports. Then we do what? We create those reports, then we share. Okay, that is the Power BI workflow. Connecting data, transforming, calculating new measures or building relationships. Then we go ahead and visualize. We build reports and then go ahead and share those reports. Okay, now, that is the Power BI workflow. Now we go back to our Power BI interface, and I want us to look at what do we have, when do we use which feature, and so on and so forth. So before building reports and dashboards, it is important to become familiar with the Power BI environment, and think of Power BI as a platform or a workspace where you're able to connect data, transform and clean that data, create relationships and calculations, build reports and design dashboards. Then after that, you share insights with decision makers. Okay, so on the Power BI interface, we have a ribbon there. And that is where we have all commands such as importing data, refreshing, publishing, adding visuals, themes, and formatting. That is the ribbon. This part here, sorry. Yeah, it should be here. This part here, this is our ribbon. Yeah, so if you want to add visuals, if you want to publish, if you want to, under home, we have, if you want to insert a visual, if you want to create this is modeling, if you want to create a relationship, if you want to view, if you want to optimize, so this is where you refresh the visuals, optimizations, presets, and so on and so forth. If you want to apply slicer buttons, they are there. That is the ribbon. Then we have now this bit: report view, table, model, DAX, and TMDL. Yeah. So for report view, again, just to remind you, this is where reports and dashboards are created. Okay. So the presentation layer, decisions. This is where the decision makers. This is what you present to the decision makers. The report view. Okay. Then we have the data view. It displays imported tables. It reviews data, create calculated columns, and verify the values. Okay. And a data view, that is where you get to see the data. Then you have the model view. This is where you display relationships between tables, and it is the blueprint of your data model. Okay. Now, on the report view, we have the report canvas. This is the report view here. This is the report view. What we have here, this space here, is called the report canvas. And the report canvas is basically is basically the workspace where visualizations are placed, like a blank presentation slide. Okay. Then we have the visualization pane, which contains all available charts. We have bar, column, line, pie, maps, KPI cards, tables, matrix, slices, and so on and so forth. So this is the visualization pane here. The visualization pane here. Then we have the fields pane. Under fields pane, this one displays all imported tables and their fields. So once you import your data, under fields pane, we'll be able to see your data in form of the columns that are there. Okay, then we have the filters pane. So this one allows filtering at the visual page or report level. So with the filters pane, once you build your visual, you can just select a filter, then it's going to be executed or effected on your visualization. Okay, now I want us to do something. I want us to start with connecting to data so that it makes sense. Yeah. So at this particular point, we are trying to integrate our Power BI with a data source. Okay. So how do we do that? We go to home. Under home, we have get data, then select your source, then load or transform that particular data. So let me show you how we go about that. We're going to do an example using the data set that has been shared. I believe it has been shared by Millicent. You go to home. Under home, we have something that looks like a cylinder, then a table. So this here is connect to data from multiple sources, and it has a drop-down arrow there. So we have the common data sources. We have an Excel workbook, Power BI semantic models, we have data flows, we have Dataverse, we have SQL server. So if you want to connect to an SQL server, you can do that. If you want to connect with analysis services, is it a text or a CSV file? Do you want to get it from a web, and so on and so forth? Yeah, so these are the common data sources. And you select more, and it's going to show you all the data sources that you can get your data from. Okay, there are very many. So for our case, we're just going to use a CSV file. So I'm going to select that, then select connect. Then it's going to take me to my files, where the files are. And I want to use this County Health Analytics dataset. Then open. So it is loading, it is connecting, it is integrating with my data source. So this is what I have here. So County Health Analytics dataset, this is the CSV file. It shows me the content of my dataset, just a few entries. Yeah, not all of them, of course. So it's going to show me the column headers and just a few entries. So this is my dataset. So so we have the delimiter. It's a CSV file. That is why it's a comma separated sort of a file. Then data type detection based on first 200 rows. So that is my data set. Now I want you to see at the bottom here, we have load, transform, and cancel. So that is to mean we haven't loaded our data yet. We haven't. So the next thing is go to the next step, which is loading versus transforming data. What does that mean? So you load your data in cases where you do not need to clean your data. You're so sure that your data is clean. Yeah, you're so sure that your data is clean. You don't need to do anything. It is clean. It is ready for analysis. Then you can load that data. You can select load. But in cases where you have to clean your data, you select transform. Okay, so this one is going to open to, so we were working from the report view. We now go to the Power Query. There is a platform by the name Power Query. This is where you do your cleaning from. Okay, so again, I've said, you choose load in cases where you're very sure that your data is clean for analysis, is ready for analysis. But if that is not the case, just select transform. Then you can go ahead and do what? Transform your data. So when in doubt, always choose transform. It gives you full control over data quality before it enters your model. Very important. If you're not so sure about the status of your data, how clean your data is, just select transform. Then it's going to take you to the Power Query where you'll be able to clean your data. So Power Query is a data preparation tool in Power BI where you're able to clean, transform, and reshape your data before building reports. So in Power Query, you're able to improve data quality by catching and correcting errors, inconsistencies, missing values before they affect your analysis. Number two, you're able to save time because you can automate the repetitive cleaning tasks. And lastly, you ensure there is consistency because you're able to standardize formats, names, and data types across all sources. That is Power Query, or rather that is under transformation. Once you select transformation, it takes you to Power Query. So this is where you're able to change data types. You're able to rename columns. You're able to remove duplicates. You're able to replace values, and you're able to handle missing values. It is on the Power Query that you're able to do that. In those cases that you need to split a column, for example, you have a column with the two names and you're supposed to have two columns instead with the first name and the second name, then you can split those columns, okay, under Power Query. If you want to merge a column, so you have two columns like county and sub-county, and you just want to show location, you can merge the two columns. In case you want to remove unnecessary columns like maybe transaction ID or something that is not going to be used, then you can remove unnecessary columns. If you want to clean and trim your text, we have that option as well. And if you want to create custom columns, you can do it from data transformation. So again, not from data transformation, but from the Power Query. Okay, from the Power Query. Now, so that is the first bit. Maybe we can do something. So I'm going to remember transform data. Then from data transformation, this is the Power Query here. So this is our Power Query. So I want you to see that we have some details here on top of our data that is showing what is the status of our data in terms of validity, in terms of what is the percentage when it comes to, okay, this is a data quality sort of report. It's a data quality report that is showing, do we have any errors? No, we don't. It's 0%. Validity is at 20%. Empty, that is to mean we are at 80%. That is to mean we have 20%. We have some missing values. If we didn't have any missing values, the empty bit would be 100%. Yeah, that is to mean we do not have any missing value. And it's important to have this because it shows you, by the way, this is the status of our data. Yeah, so this is the Power Query editor where we do our transformations. Under transform, we have quite a number of things that you can do. If you want to split your column, if you want to format, if you want to replace values, if you want to fill, if you want to rename, we have quite a number of them. If you want to transpose, yeah, you can do that. Under view, this is where, under view, this is where you include the column quality report. If you don't want to have that report, you can just have that, yeah. But with the column quality report, you'll be able to tell. Again, it's very important. You'll be able to tell. So how is the status of our data? Okay. Then it shows you this is the current status, and of course, you're able to know that we need to clean our data because we have some empty cells. Yeah. So you right click on the, on the column header, right click, and it's going to show you a menu of, do you want to copy that? Do you want to remove that particular column? Do you want to remove other columns? Do you want to duplicate this column? Do you want to add column from examples? Do you want to remove duplicates in that particular column? Do you want to remove errors? We also have change type. This is where it shows you your data type. This is very important. It's not something that you want to ignore, by the way, or assume that I'm okay. I mean, my data set is okay. No, you want to make sure that your data set is in the right format, or rather you have the right data type in a particular column. So under change type, this is where you're able to see the types, the data type. And of course, you see we have a tick on the data type, that particular data type. So that is to mean on this particular row, the data type is text. So if you want to change it to some other data type, you just select the other data type. Okay. If you want to transform, now that it is text data type, you might want to transform it into lowercase, into uppercase. You want to capitalize each word. You want to trim each word. You want to clean it. You want to look at the length. Is it JSON type of data? Is it XML? Okay. If you want to replace values, you select that. So which value do you want to replace? You look for that value. How or with which value do you want to replace with? So what would be the replacement? Then select OK. Okay, so that is under replace values. Then if you want to split the column, if you want to group by is a function that is used in cases where you have hierarchical type of data. For example, if you have a date in form of year, and if you want to group it by, months, or something like quarters or weeks, you can work with the group by function. Yeah, then we have fill, then you have how do you want to fill it up? Is it downwards or upwards? Then unpivoting a column, pivoting other columns. Do you want to rename it? Do you want to drill down, add as a new query? So those are some of the things that you do. Those are the transformations that happen. Now, I want to show you something. Now, so on your left, not left, on my right here, we have query settings. Under query settings, we have properties. So it's going to show you the details. So the data set that we are using, this is the name. And then we have all properties. Then it's going to show you, this is the name of that particular, enable to load report. Now, under that, we have applied steps. So this is the Power Query Editor. This is where you do your transformations. Again, now this is what happens. Any correction that is made, any transformation that is made, that step is usually recorded under applied steps. Okay, for example, let me try and do something here. I'm going to just do it. So I'm going to remove empty. So it's going to remove all the, the missing values, yeah, or the rows with the missing values. So once it is removed, I want you to realize that under applied steps, there's something that has been added. And now we are at filtered, we have something like filtered rows. So that is to mean some rows have been removed. Okay, so if I want to rename this column and give it something like, I just want to rename it visit underscore date, something like that. Under applied steps, it's going to be included. So it shows all the transformations that have taken place. Okay, so if I want to undo that step, I just cancel that. Then it's going to go back to its original state. Okay, now for your corrections to be effected, again, remember this, for your corrections to be effected, this is the Power Query Editor. Now we want to go back to our data after cleaning, after transformation. What you're supposed to do is go to File, Close and Apply. Close and Apply. What does it do? It's going to save all the changes and then close the Power Query Editor and take you to your data set. Again, go to File, select Close and Apply, then it's going to effect all the changes and take you and close the Power Query Editor and take you to your now cleaned data set. So I'm going to select Close and Apply. Then it's going to take me to my, so it's loading the new data set now that has been cleaned. Then it's going to take me to the report view. Okay, this is the report view. So if I want to view my data set, I go to table view, and here is my data set. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now, that is data transformation. Then we have data modeling. Data modeling again happens in cases where you have a number of tables, a number of data sets, and you need to see or check whether these data sets are related. Yeah, and if they are related, then we have to have something that is in common, a common column between the two tables or the three tables. Okay, that is data modeling. You're going to look at that. Allow me to just skip that. I want to go to DAX fundamentals because our data set doesn't have, we don't have a number of data sets that we need to connect and check whether they have relationships, but it is important for you to check whether your data sets are related. Okay, now we have the DAX fundamentals or the data analysis expressions. So these ones enable us to calculate functions or calculate measures that were not there initially. So, okay, so think of DAX as Excel formulas designed specifically for business intelligence. And while Excel formulas calculate values inside individual cells, DAX performs calculations across entire data sets. So this one is used to calculate total revenue. Do you want to calculate year-to-date revenue? Do you want to calculate the growth rate? Do you want to calculate the profit margin? Do you want to calculate percentage contribution? With DAX formulas, you're able to do that. So normally, the data sets that we usually have, not most of them have not most of them have, what are they called? These summations, most of them don't have the summation. So you're the one to add those, you're the one to do the summations. So for you to be able to do that, you usually use DAX formulas. And in Power BI, we usually calculate something that is called measures. So you're calculating a new measure, like a total, maybe total sales for sales data set. If you want to calculate a new column, you can calculate a new column from the existing one using a formula, and that formula we get it from DAX. Okay, I hope that is clear. So those are the DAX formulas. Now, because of time, we're going to take a break. And this break is going to be a 5-minute break. So we're supposed to come back at 7:20. Then we are going to finish up on Power BI. As I try and answer questions, then I think we'll be done. We'll see where we're going to reach. But again, I'm going to share with you the materials. Then then you can try and follow through. At least you have the the foundation. Yeah. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to follow through. So we're going to take a 5-minute break. So by 7:20, we should be back. Then I'm going to wind up. Yeah, that's it. So see you in the next 5 minutes. Yes.
Thank you for that inciting instruction, Ms. Ongare. So as we take this break, kindly let's remember to register and sign up on the attendance form, fill it as appropriate and complete it. The links have been pinned on YouTube and Teams as well. So any questions, keep posting them on the Q&As and we'll be sure enough to make response as appropriate. And yeah, have your break and let's enjoy the session. Oh, another kind reminder is that the videos are available on YouTube. The link will be shared as well under the YouTube courses, and you'll find all the 3-day classes posted there as had been presented. Any questions can still be posted on the Q&A, and will be advised further with the ICT team on how to do the assessments afterwards. And finally, to those of us on YouTube, kindly check the pinned comment. There is a section where you can click on the form to mark your attendance.
Welcome back. I want us to make good use of the remaining minutes, at least to finish up on the Power BI bit, just to, at least have an idea what happens in Power BI up to the point of us having a report ready and even a dashboard. Yeah. So we've talked about the DAX measures. And or not measures, but DAX, data analysis expressions. With data analysis expressions, you're able to calculate a new measure or a new column or a table. Okay, so how do you calculate that? So we have some inbuilt functions or formulas that we usually use for DAX. But again, if you have a formula that you're sure is going to work, as long as you're using the universal arithmetic operations, then you should be able to calculate a measure. Okay. Now, let's see whether it's going to be possible to do something. We usually do the DAX and we can do it under the model view or the DAX query view. Okay, so under model view, I want you to see that this is where we have new measures, new column, a new table, calculation group, or a new parameter. So these are measures that you're supposed to calculate. They were not there in your original data set. So you're the one to calculate them. So if you want to calculate a new measure, so you're just going to select that. We have a number of ways of doing that. So I have selected that, then you realize the formula bar has been activated. So that is where you write your formula. So measure equal to, so if you have a specific name that you want to give to your new measure, you can just use that particular name. Okay, so I'm going to delete that and maybe have something like total treatment cost. So I want to calculate the total treatment cost, and this total treatment cost is going to be sum. So you see, good thing with Power BI, it gives you suggestions. So the likelihood of you messing up with the functions is next to zero, unless you you selected the wrong, function. Yeah. So we want to calculate sum. Then it references your table, another advantage. So you don't have to write everything. It's going to show you, okay, the data set that we are dealing with is the County Health Analytics data set. And this data set has a number of columns. So which column do you want to work with? Which column do you want to calculate its total? Yeah, for our case, we want to use the treatment cost column. So I'm going to select that. Then I'm just going to close that bracket, then enter. So we have calculated the total treatment cost. Now I want you to realize we have this part. Then we have where we have the formula bar, then we have properties, then we have data. Under data, we had the name of our data set, County Health Analytics data set, and the contents or the columns of our data. Now I want you to take note of, we have a new measure. And this new measure, it has an icon of a calculator. So that is to mean this is a calculated measure. Okay, this is a calculated measure. So total treatment cost is a calculated measure. Another thing that I need to mention, we might not be able to see the total treatment cost at this point. Why? Because this is a calculated measure. So for us to be able to see these costs, the new calculated measure, it's until you visualize it. I repeat, it is until you visualize it that you'll be able to know what exactly was that figure or that value. I hope that is clear. Yeah. So for any new measure, any new column, of course, when a new column is created, you're going to see it because it's going to appear on, it's going to appear on your table. Yeah, as part of your table. But again, unless you go to the, unless you go to the table view, that is where you'll be able to see your new, that is where you're able to see your new column. If it's a new table, it's going to appear as a new table. Okay, so I hope you get that point. For total treatment cost, a calculated measure, you can only see it when you visualize it. I hope that is clear. So that is under DAX. What else can we calculate? Let's not calculate some. Maybe we can calculate average age. So we want to calculate the average age. Average age equal to, so it's the average of, remember, of the age column, then so we're going to have the average age there, the average age of our patients. Okay, so that is another new measure that has been calculated. Okay, now I want us to do this. I want us to proceed to now. So we have done our, we have added new measures. Now we want to proceed to visualizations. How do we build visualizations in Power BI? The procedure is you select a visual. So you're going to go to the report view. You select a visual. Then once you select a visual, the data part is going to be activated. Remember, this visual is being built based on a data set or on data. Yeah. So you're going to drag the column that you want to visualize. Okay. Then you configure the axis, format, and style. Okay. Now, I want us to start from this point. So that I show you how we usually make reports or create reports. Then I'm going to show you an example. So this is our report view. This is where we build our visualizations from. Now, first thing first, in a report, you want to make sure that your report has a theme or something. Yeah, it's not as plain as, just any other thing. So you want to add a theme. So if you want to add a theme, I want us to start from there. You go to view. Under view, we have the first icon there is for themes, and it has a drop down, so you can select from those themes. Okay. And if you have, a theme, for example, in the institution, you usually work with a certain theme, you can upload that theme there. So browse for themes, then you upload that theme. If you want to customize, you want to create a theme without using the ones that are already there, you can do that as well. Okay, so I'm going to use this title, this theme. Yeah, for it to look like, business-ish or something that is serious, not just any other thing. So we've this is our theme. Now we go back to home, still under the report view. First thing first, our report should have a title. So how do we create titles? Or rather, how do we now, how am I supposed to write a title? So, under insert, we have visualizations, we have a narrative, we have quite a number. Now I'll be using, we should have a text box. This is a text box. So I'm going to use this text box and use it as a placeholder for my title. Okay, that is a text box. So this is where I'm going to write my title. So I'm going to give it the name county, okay, monthly report for county health analytics, something like that. Yeah, I don't know if it's making sense. Analytics. So at this point, you can work with the, the fonts. You can select the font that you want to work with. You can work with Calibri. Then the font size, remember this is a title, so it should be large. Then it should be centered. Should be bold. Do you want it to have a color or something? Let's see. I'm trying to see whether we can have the font size as, okay, that's too huge. So something like that. So monthly report for county health analytics, something of the sort. You can get a better, of course, you can get a better, title. Now we have something like that. So we have a theme, we have a title for our report. Then the other thing now is, let us now proceed to the visualizations. Yeah. Now under visualizations, first of all, you start with KPIs, key performance indicators. Key performance indicators. And for our case, the key performance indicators, we can decide to work with the total treatment as treatment costs. If this is for a hospital, yeah, hospital, remember hospital is quote unquote business. Yeah, they want to see how much money did we make. Unfortunately, I mean, it's hospital matters. So how much money did we make? Yeah, so we can use that as one of our KPIs. So for KPIs, we usually use CAD visuals. CAD visuals. Okay, so you select your visual. So we have our report, we have format, we have build, we have data. First thing first, select your visual. And what is your visual? It is a CAD visual. That is the CAD visual. So select that. When you select that, I want you to realize under build, under the visualizations, we now have which value. Under value, we have add data. Do you have categories? Do you have tooltips? Okay. So categories, if you want to maybe, if you have a categorical column, okay. For value, remember this is a CAD visual. We only want to show the total amount, okay. So what we do, we are going to drag our column, the column that we want to visualize, on the value part. Again, for the value, under the value, okay, on this value slot, what you put is numerical data. It is a value, not categorical data. Okay, numerical data. So I'm just going to drag it there. Then we have something like that. Then we're going to reduce these. Then maybe we put it there. So it's going to show that total treatment costs for this particular month was 3 million. Okay. Now, if you want to format, if you maybe you want to add a title or something, you can do that. So you're going to select title, then under format, this is where you come and write the title. That will be total treatment costs. Treatment costs, something like that. How do you want it to, the heading should be in bold. Do you want a background color? No, you don't. Then we have, it should be sent at the center. Then do you want a subtitle? For this case, it might not be relevant. Do you want a divider? You can work with a divider. You just put on, and then we'll have that line being added there. Spacing, in case, now we have another option of multi-card layout. In cases where you have a number of KPIs that you want to display, but you want them to be on one card. Okay, in case you have a number of KPIs that you want to be displayed, and you have them on one card. Okay, then we have cards. Of course, that applies in cases where you have a number of them. Then you have the callouts. These are still functions. Reference labels, layouts, and then reference labels. Those are, examples of, not examples, but some of the properties that you can, enhance. Okay. Now, that is a card visual. A card visual. And a card visual is usually used to show KPIs, to showcase KPIs, something like totals, average, something that is very important. Now, the arrangement of, okay, this is just, but just to make sure that your work is well displayed or your visuals are well displayed. On top, on this top layer or on the first level, the topmost level, you're supposed to have your KPIs, okay? Then at the bottom, or rather right below the, right below the KPIs, that is where you have your comparison. So something like a bar graph, something like a bar graph or a column chart or a pie chart. Then at the bottom, that is where you have your slicers. And a slicer is an interactive tool that is used in Power BI, just to make sure that your report is interactive. And maybe I can include one. So we have slicers. They're the ones with funnel sort of a thing. So we have that slicer, we have button slicer, we have input slicer, we have list slicer. Yeah, you can use either. So for a slicer, if I select a slicer, I have selected a slicer. Let me see. So I have selected a slicer. So the data that I'll be using for a slicer, you have to use it's called a categorical column. A categorical column, something like gender, something like disease. So for example, if you want to slice based on gender, so I'm just going to drag it there. Then maybe I can have something like this. So then, of course, you can, you can style it, you can format it just for it to look, not so plain. So if I only want to display information about the female gender, so I'm going to select female, and then I want you to realize that on the KPI, it's going to change. So that is to mean the total, if it was maybe a private hospital and this is a business, the total quote unquote revenue incurred from female patients was 1 million, and from the male patients was 2 million. Should be something like that. Should be, okay, 1 million. So that is to mean there is something that is most likely it's 1.5, 1.5. or something of the sort. Yeah, but that is what it's supposed to show. So with a slicer, this is what makes Power BI interactive, or Power BI reports interactive. Yeah, so you have a number of visualizations and a slicer that has a particular, we are slicing based on a particular categorical column. So it's going to show you details about a certain category for all the visuals. It's going to be applied on all the visuals. Okay, so that is report page number 1. If you have another report page, go to report page number 2, then do your visuals there as well. So for a report, you can have as many pages as you want to. Okay, now another thing, when it comes to different report pages, it is advised that each report, or rather each page, should contain visuals that are related to each other, for order purposes. So for example, you can work with the first page should only carry KPIs. Okay, then page number 2 should only carry comparative visuals. Then page number 3, you can have something that is for proportions. Then page number 4, you can have tables and matrix. Okay, just to make sure that your work is well organized. Okay, so I have an example here that I've already done. This one was a report for a restaurant, and they want to see how are these restaurants distributed. Yeah. So number of restaurants by cuisine. So this is this is a column chart. Yeah, showing, it's doing some comparison. So you have the Chinese cuisine, we have Indian, Thai, Mexican, Japanese, American, Italian. Then we have a table that is showing the average rating by cuisine and city. Then we have a slicer, just to make it interactive. If I want to get details about the American cuisine, I'm just going to select that, and it's going to show me the details about the American cuisine. That is page 1. Then page 2, it's showing me this is a scatter plot of some of, price range with rating. Then this one should be a map. Yeah, city and restaurant name. So this one is a map. So it's going to show you the city and the restaurant name. So you select this. The city is Phoenix, and it's supposed to show me the hotel name as well, Boyd Kelly. Then Los Angeles and Brown Johnson, something of the sorts. Okay, so that is how a report looks like. This is how a report looks like. I hope now it's making sense, and you're able to now at least have an idea of what you should expect. So once you create your reports, the next thing is to publish it. So for you to be able to publish this report, you have to have a Power BI service account, or of course you have to have an account. And by the way, if you already have an account, it is safer for you to sign in even before while still working on desktop. Okay, so you select publish. Then do you want to save your changes? Yeah, save those changes. Then it's now going to take you to your Power BI service. So this is where you write your email. Then you can now go to the Power BI service. Then from the Power BI service, that is where now you prepare a dashboard. So a dashboard is prepared from a published report. Again, a dashboard is prepared from a published report. So at the Power BI desktop level, what we do, we get to the point of we have created a report. Now we want to share it, then so that we are able to build a dashboard. Okay, I hope I hope that is clear. So publishing and sharing reports, you publish to service, then share and collaborate. Then it is at the, it is from the Power BI service that you'll be able to schedule refreshing. If you want to refresh your data, you can only do it from that particular level. I hope that is clear. So what is the workflow of Power BI? You connect data, and I hope you can recall how we go about that. Clean that data from the Power Query. Then if you have a number of tables, you go to data modeling. That is where you usually have the star schema, where you want to see how are these tables related to each other. Then you go to creating DAX. DAX, there you want to create new measures, a new column, a new table. You use the data analysis expressions. Then after that, you can now design your visuals. Okay, after you're done with your visuals, you've created a report, then you publish it and share it with your colleagues. And it's from there that you'll be able to create a dashboard. I hope that is clear. So where can we apply Power BI or applications? In cases, for example, those that are in healthcare, you can, if you want to monitor disease burden, vaccine coverage, maternal mortality, and hospital performance by county, you can work with Power BI for those that are in maybe National Treasury or something, or in these departments. You can track revenue collection, budget absorption, and expenditure across departments and projects. Then in education, you can monitor school enrollment. And in infrastructure, you want to track water projects, road construction, and citizen complaints by ward and sub-county. That is where you apply Power BI. So that was basically data visualization and Power BI. At least I know now you have an idea of what, of how you work around Power BI. Yeah. Now, once you're done, maybe something that I need to mention, once you're done with your report, of course, you're supposed to save this report. And how do you save it? You save as, then depending on where you have your, where you have your projects or where you want to store them, then they're going to be stored in form of PBIX files. That is Power BI files. Yeah, Power BI files. So the next time, and you keep on saving your work. So the next time you, if you still want to continue working on that report, you're just going to go to file, then open a new file, then it's going to show you the files that are there. Sawa? I hope that is clear. Now that I'm done with that, I want to talk about something, and I'm doing this for this training to be relevant to you. There's something that is very important that you're supposed to remember when it comes to data analysis. Remember the essence of data analysis is basically converting data to decisions. Yeah, and we've talked about the data analysis workflow, from where to where, and so on and so forth. So you have your raw data, you convert it to information, you analyze that information to get insights. Then from the insights, you're supposed to recommend actions. Now, I want you to see this practical example. And this one will give you an idea of how you will be dealing with data, or rather how you'll be coming from data to decisions. This is the last thing that I'm going to do, by the way. Now, we have the analytics chain in action. So we have a hospital here, and this hospital, this is the situation. The raw data that they have is that this hospital recorded 2,500 patient admissions this particular quarter. So after analysis, remember, from raw data, you clean that data, you transform it to get some information after analysis. So from analysis, you're able to get insights. And the insight that you get here is that the facility is operating beyond its intended capacity. Why? It had the highest admissions in the county. Okay, so that is to mean this is likely, this is coming from descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics. So from diagnostic analytics, you're able to know that this particular facility is operating beyond its intended capacity. Why? Because it had the highest admissions in that county. Then what is the next step? The next step is to now recommend an action. So with an insight, you're supposed to give us a solution. So with a finding, once we get some findings, we go ahead and recommend an action. And the action is increase staffing, make sure that your stock, you have medicine in stock, and lastly, bed capacity, increase bed capacity immediately. So that is the action that you have recommended. So what impact will that have? So this one is supposed to be escalated to the county government, and the county government is supposed to allocate resources. And with that, it's going to reduce waiting time and improved healthcare outcomes. Now, let me tell you, this last bit here was our problem. That was our business problem. Why do we have such long waiting times? Why do people have to wait like 2 hours for them to be, for them to see doctors? So why do we have that? So we went ahead and checked. What is the raw data? Sorry. We had 2,500 patients. Then we did our analysis and found out that, by the way, this hospital is operating beyond its intended capacity, because clearly when you compare with other hospitals, it had the highest, admissions in the country. Then after that, we now recommend an action, a solution. So that solution should be able to solve our problem. As simple as that. So this is how you're supposed to tackle analysis. You come from raw data, do some analysis, recommend an action, then let it have an impact, or rather, let it solve a problem. And that is it. So that is basically data analysis. And that marks the end of our class today and our training session. Malcolm or Brian?
Thank you very much, Teacher Wangari. Wow, this is that has been quite impressive, and we are getting, or rather, we've gotten a lot of interactions on WhatsApp, on Teams. We're getting a lot of feedback on YouTube. We have professionals, we have students, we have people who are already in data, who are actually sharing and actually acknowledging of all the new things that they're learning right now. It's just amazing. Thank you very much, Wangari. I think before I can go ahead and make any necessary comments or even share some of the feedback that is available. Maybe since you're still fresh, I can lead in 1 or 2 questions. Some of which from this end stood out. Maybe you can just take a poke at them, and then we can now go ahead and give some of the salutations. Is that okay, Wangari?
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Wonderful. So I'll go ahead and I'll pick a question here from there's a lady called Crystal. So Crystal is saying, would you recommend including insights in a dashboard report such that leadership or anyone non-technical is able to understand the overall report? From that, even without your presence to present the findings. And she says, if yes, how would you go about it? And she also says, thank you very much for taking us through this training. It's been nothing short of amazing. I don't know whether my question is clear. Sorry.
Yes, it is. So in cases where you don't have to present, we have features in Power BI that you can use to write down your insights. Yeah, so we have something like we have smart narrative. Under smart narrative, you can write your insights there. Yeah, we have a visualization by the name smart narrative. There are others where you can just write down your points. Again, you can use something like a text box just to write down your points. But now, make sure that your insights are very clear. Like just let them be brief and to the point. Like once they read those insights, they really do not have to struggle. They need to relate that information to whatever is happening on the report or on the dashboard. Yeah. So make sure that your insights are brief and to the point. Yes, you can. The question was whether you can add your insights. Yes, you can. You can use a text box. You can use smart narrative visual to write down your points on. Yeah. Yeah, we have this visual by the name narrative. You can write them down there. You can use the text box, insert, then work with the text box. This text box there, then you can just write down your points there, but make sure they are brief and to the point. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Wangari. I think I'll throw in two more. So there's one here who asks, how do you decide visualization? I think we have a question about visualization, like about 10 to 20 people asking about it. How do you decide which visualization to use when you have a mix of categorical and continuous variables in the same data set, like customer segments and so on and so forth, could literally range from revenue, age, or even the data set that you shared? What dictates the kind of visualization that someone would actually opt to choose before you can go ahead and submit a report?
Okay, good question. So we said we have the factors that we consider before choosing or while selecting a visualization. And the first one was the purpose of the analysis. So why are we, apart from data, first thing first, at the end of this analysis, what am I supposed to, or what solution am I supposed to offer, or what question am I supposed to answer? With that, it is going to make your work easier, because if you're supposed to compare sales by region, that is to mean, in this case, we have sales, which is continuous type of data, and we have region, which is categorical in nature. So we want to compare sales for different regions. So that is a comparison sort of a problem. So for such a comparison problem, we work with a bar graph or a column chart. Yeah. So my answer to that question would be, make sure you understand the question that you're trying to answer. What is the purpose of that analysis? Or by the end of this analysis, what solution am I supposed to offer? With that, it's going to be easier for you to know the variables to work with. So if I'm supposed to show the sales by region, that is to mean you need to know which visualization can I work with if I have such type of data. Yeah, categorical and continuous. Which one can I work with? Yeah, but the main factor is the purpose of the analysis. Yeah.
Wonderful. I believe that has been insightful to about the 2025 respondents that actually brought that up. And then finally, through the duration of this course, of course, we have professionals who are already doing it, and of course, students who are actually just looking at your dashboards, they're looking at BI, they're seeing the way you're playing around with data and the systems. So they have a very, very important questions. After all has been said and done, how marketable is data analytics in Kenya?
I think I'd say this is something that is being embraced in most of the institutions, and for those that are in finance and accounting, and those that are doing the CPAs, you can bear me witness that there's a new unit. I don't know how you call them. Is it unit or is it a module by the name data analysis or something, and data analytics, or something to do with business intelligence. So that is to mean, or business analytics. So that is to mean this is something that is being embraced in most of the fields. So just like AI, artificial intelligence, where it's being applied everywhere, in medicine, in healthcare, in all the fields, I think we are headed there. And I think right now, even before we get to the peak of it, it's important for you just to equip yourself with these skills. Ndio hiyo time ikifika, allow me to use Swahili, when you get to that point where they need someone who is well versed with Power BI, you'll be there. Nowadays we have we have jobs like business intelligence analysts. Yeah, so that is to mean you're supposed to be well versed with BI tools, the Looker Studio, Tableau, Power BI, and so on and so forth. So what I'd say, we are slowly getting there. Yeah, and the safest way, or it is safe for you to be at least equipped with these skills. Yeah, that is all I can say.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wangari. And then I think just to echo what Ms. Wangari said, she's a testament of what this course and this career profession is all about. You can see the knowledge, you can see how it's been able to input, and how you can be able to use it, both from an educational perspective and both from a business perspective. And even us here at Sigma, personally, I can even bear witness how this one has actually shaped my career personally, because data analytics and data science, they were one of those unique which still hadn't really fully developed. But just as artificial intelligence is coming up, data analytics and data science are extremely marketable. Go to LinkedIn, go to all the popular job sites and web markets, even the digital and virtual ones. You'll actually see that the demand has been consistent and has been rising. So do not be afraid. At least our very able teacher has been able to just display just how clear these navigations are and these tools are. Once you're able to master these tools, together with some a few lessons to indulge in, you should be in a very, very good position to be able to assist this. So on behalf of Sigma team, our technical team, our training team, all the accolades, of course, go to our trainer. We're getting a lot of positive feedback. Wangari, we have a lot of students who are asking to see you. I don't know whether that will be possible. If not, it's still okay. Yeah. Maybe watakuonea view sasa, but then again, you can just follow her professionally on the professional sites. And again, besides data analytics, at Sigma Academy, we also offer quite a range of courses, ranging from CX, UI, data science as well. So you're actually free to just peruse through our catalog, and you'll be able to get all the information that is relevant. And we also just want to thank for this session our technical team. We have our Chief Technology Officer, Bryant. I don't know whether Bryant is on the call. He can just say hello.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for the recognition. It's Bryant here, and it's been joyful working with you.
Thank you, Brian. That's our CTO, who's ensuring all our platforms and all our systems are running smoothly. And then we have one of our directors, Millicent. Would you kindly just say hello?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Millicent. Thank you for being part of us, and we look forward to having you enroll with us at Sigma Academy.
Thank you, Millicent. And our another one of our leads, mostly we can call him our main lead. We have Ricky. Ricky, you can say hello. I don't know if he's around. Yeah, he's just mentioned he's still following online. Ricky is our lead business development director here at Sigma. And I'll just like to thank the team for this 3-day training. It's been wonderful. It's been insightful. A lot has been learned. And of course, I've been engaging you on the chats to just answer some of the questions that were coming in fast and furious. After the lessons, I believe our partners from ICT will be able to just give us our closing remarks and also guide us on the way forward. And with that, I'd like to say thank you, and we look forward to actually having some of you join our programs and our intakes, which are coming in. Thank you very much. I can go ahead and hand this over to Connie to conclude for us. Connie?
Thank you so much, Malcolm. Hoping that I'm audible enough to everyone.
Yes, you're audible. Go ahead.
Thank you so much to you. Good evening to everyone, and good evening to entire Sigma Academy team. This has been one of the most wonderful trainings that we have held as the ICT Authority. And this is where the power of technology has given us, because when we advertised this course being run by the ICT Authority in partnership with Sigma Technologies, we never knew who will be the first person to register and who will be the last person to register. But above all, the kind of knowledge that we have been able to gain in this training program. Let me start by saying thank you to the very wonderful trainer who has led us through this training. Very knowledgeable, has all tips about data analytics on the fingertips, and dedicated our time. To you, Wangari, I can tell you, you are one of the best trainers I have come across. I'm a trainer, but you have really mastered your field. You have really mastered the professionals you are dealing with and the kind of people we had in this. As we leave this training today, I would like to encourage everyone to become an ambassador of the digital skills program that we are running at the ICT Authority, which we are not doing on our own, as we are aiming to upskill 20 million citizens. You are able to inspire others, and even through this, which we are doing with partners, like the partner whom we have had today, Sigma Digital Training Institute. You can see if Wangari, our trainer, is just one of the best trainers they have, and they have mentioned other courses. Just take your time, come to ICT Authority, Smart Academy portal, see what we do there, go to Sigma Digital Training Institute, see the kind of courses they offer there, and you'll bear me witness that you'll be the very first one to share the knowledge you have gained, inspire others, and will be able to embrace technology to create a digital and digitally enabled society as we aim to upskill the 20 million citizens. As a government, we have a role to say that we need everyone to be digital, but are you part of the journey or you are on the journey? Because if we don't bridge the digital gap, we'll have so much to miss. Also, on the Smart Academy portal, we offer many different courses. Like if you log into that academy, where I know most of you have seen it, we have the upcoming course on digital, on multimedia and content creation, which we'll be doing in the month of August, which we intend to equip people with skills of storytelling, content development, multimedia development, video production, and more. So we deal with many vast fields with different partners. So it's upon you to look at the course that fits you, the dates, then stay connected and will not let you down. Lastly, but not least, I know that I've been speaking so much. I've not been alone on this platform. I have been having colleagues whom I'll mention by name, whom have been supporting me. The director ICT Authority on capacity development, innovations, and digital skills was here. And on the day we started on Tuesday, but due to technical challenges, was unable to officially open the training. I had my 3 other colleagues, namely Kevin Mugambi, John Muigai, and Florence Olwenyi, who have been supporting me and supporting you through the WhatsApp groups, through YouTube, and even you have been reaching out to us individually on WhatsApp specifically and on email. That's the team that has been there in the background, and you can bear me witness as a student that we have been able to respond to all your queries. With that said and done, we have come to the end. I'll just like to be clear on the next steps so that we don't flood WhatsApp groups with unnecessary things. I know we are mostly on social media platforms from email, WhatsApp, and YouTube. Please ensure that you don't come to those platforms. We are all professionals. We are all in the ICT field, and we are all literate people who cannot scam us. Please don't come to those WhatsApp groups where we are supporting the others, and you start scamming us. You start spamming those groups with so many messages, because we want to give communication there until the end, so that as Kyoko leaves that group, I'm comfortable that I've been able to assist each and everyone. So what will happen in the next few days? We will get the training materials, the links on YouTube, and whatever is possible to assist you continue with this journey of learning, and share with you individually in the email, not the ones which you're registered with, but the one which you have captured your attendance with. Then there's that attendance people have been asking. If you manage to fill it for one day because of the large numbers that we have been having, consider yourself safe. But if you have not, kindly, I know we'll have a rough journey ahead. As you are telling me you attended the training, you didn't get the materials, you didn't get this. So ensure that you fill that attendance, at least for today is the last day. Then we will give you over the weekend to study over those materials, or when we send them. Because of the big numbers here, expect us to share that email from tomorrow, latest Monday. Then we give you some time to go through those materials. Then afterwards, you will get a specialized email to your email inbox, the one you have registered your attendance with, showing you where to find a link where you will find the exam, how to access the exam. It will be a simple exam. I don't hope and see anyone who is going to fail in that exam. You undertake that assessment. Once you undertake that assessment, we will then be in a position. Once you pass that assessment, immediately you'll be able to download your certificate issued by the ICT Authority in collaboration with Sigma Digital Training Institute. And after that, we can encourage you to hone your skills, use that certificate with the skill as show that you have gained this, and you open up your way to further knowledge in this world. With that, I hope I can take just 1 or 2 questions directed specifically to the ICT Authority, because I understand most of the questions directed to Sigma have been answered. If somebody has a burning question which has not been answered all over, to just post it on the Q&A. If not, we give ourselves 2 minutes. We see if any has a question. Can leave any has a question directly, specifically to the ICT Authority, you can do. Otherwise, if no question comes in, we can officially declare this training officially closed. And a special thank you to the whole technical team at Sigma Digital Training Institute, led by Ricky. I might tell you it has not been easy to organize this training, but the success is here with us. Thank you, bye, and everyone. Let me not say good evening because I know we are at different time zones. Bye bye, everyone. See you, become our ambassadors, and hope to see you in other trainings. Asante sana. Malcolm, with that, I guess we can officially end the call for everyone. If there's anything, reach out to either Sigma or to ICT Authority. Malcolm?
Yes, Connie, I believe we can conclude. Good evening, everyone, and let us meet on the socials and on the next and on the next intakes through Sigma and through ICT Authority. Thank you.